I have to say, with a cliffhanger like this one, I'm really glad that the newest episode will be coming out in a couple hours for me. I didn't get a chance last week to cover the Wednesday show, so as you can see, if you want to skip to any of the specific reviews, you can do so or watch the video in its entirety, but this latest Tsukimichi episode, for me anyway, was incredibly fun, ridiculously hilarious, but then it ended in such a brutal way with Tomoe, and I'm like, what in the actual hell just happened? Because seemingly, she got wounded from that big explosion in the light, so it most likely is something to do with her barrier, someone coming through that shouldn't be. Something like that is my gut reaction. I don't think she's gonna die, I don't think she's gonna be down for the count forever, but I'm glad that there is some stakes there, that even though Makoto and company are so ridiculously powerful, that pretty much everyone ends up being a servant or runs away from them when confronted, it still is rather nice. I mean, I have a hunch, my gut reaction is that it was this man who was like, I'm gonna make this boy pay, because we clearly saw him heal after getting thrown across the goddamn forest, so that's my gut reaction, but at the same time, anything's possible. I do like the fact that there are more servants being added, and they're not specifically just designed to be female love interests. I mean, I thought they were building up to that when the skeleton was turning into his human form, and I just love the idea that Makoto actually got jealous because the two were looking and were clearly very impressed by the package and the sword this man was wielding, and I love how he got embarrassed being like, that's not for ladies' eyes, don't look at that. So it's kind of nice seeing the reverse of, like, you know, Makoto finally getting into that embarrassed territory and jealous territory, when usually it's Mio and Tomoe who are very much competing for the master's attention. Just great stuff across the board. I mean, the idea of having who we learned the characters' names, Eris as well as Aqua. I mean, I was comparing some Konosuba references in the last review, so I love the idea that their names are even similar. And the idea that rather than just, like, being the shit of them or just simply running away, you send some to the illusionary city where you pretty much just capture them and say, hey, we just actually want to exchange merchant stuff. And I actually didn't expect that their original plan was going to be to execute them, though I did expect some hostility. So the fact that as the episode was getting going and you're pretty much having them, like, clearly push back against, and you have certain characters like Mio and Tomoe very much, like, angry about certain actions, and the fact that he just gets casually revealed that the elders and the, clearly, like, the council, the government that they have going for, when they realize that this boy's actually pretty powerful, is like, no way, you're not a simple merchant, we're gonna execute you, that would have been very bad for us, and he just has to have, like, that typical Tsukimichi dumbfounded look, because, like, what the hell is wrong with you people? I love the idea of the skeleton because, you know, there's always certain fantasy isekai tropes that I don't think get used enough, and you used to see it all the time in the 90s, 2000s, but like, an idea of a badass looking character like this, bent on trying, in terms of his goal anyway, to get to another world, kind of tying into Makoto's parents, and then ultimately having it be one of your servants when you realize, and he kind of crashes reality that what he's asking for has a 10% success rate if it even does work, and the first of which you have to convince the goddess to even allow it. It's pretty much a suicide mission, so what does this character have to live for? Well, ultimately, to make a servant. I think the ratio is like 10-0, which is pretty interesting given the different packs that we've seen made across the show, but still very interesting stuff for sure. I think Tsukimichi's biggest charm is that no matter what's happening, it's always entertaining, but the idea of just casual world building and shattering realizations is always something that will be interesting to me, and I mean, all I can say is I am so eager for the newest episode to come out because I want to see where that cliffhanger goes. I mean, the people that they transported into the city clearly wanted to rob them, so that probably ties back into that cliffhanger. Just great stuff. I love the comedy, I love the flirting, I love this show, and I'm so excited. So we'll go into the new review, and holy shit, is that going to be exciting. I mean, I thought it would be intense, but I never thought it'd be that dark. I am blown away by the direction this episode took, and it's a shame we only have one episode left to go, but I guess as they say, let's go out with a bang, right? I mean, the end of the episode, our boy loses 2 fingers. Will that stay like that forever? Will he have a permanent injury? The goddess transports him again, sends 2 of her best assassins. He's separated from everyone, as we actually lost 2 characters from the village. Not only Tomoe's little fragment, but one of, you know, just an adorable worker. This dude was putting in some effort, and these bastards. I mean, the wannabe prostitute to adventurer was gonna be trouble, but I didn't expect that explosion to go in that direction, especially because almost immediately the episode kicks off with our boy visibly more concerned and distraught than we've ever seen, and it actually looked like he was going to be unable to save, and it was only because of the combination of who now is named Shiki and himself that this was okay. I mean, I never expected Shiki to be this master healer, but I think it's important, especially if this episode told us anything. But to see him snap, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one who got like Freddy Krueger vibes when our boy was walking towards this horrible monster, as you get like the black and white filtering, the just death glares. I mean, I knew he was going to kill her, I just wasn't sure how it was going to be. Death by 1,000 cuts, one stab to the face, or would it be like prolonged? And to see how she continued to try to be the powerful one in that situation, visibly scared. I'm level 90 something, right? It just didn't matter. She couldn't get a hit in, and when he slashed her arms off and then just stabbed her like that. The fact that I'm glad they kept him human, because as much as it's fun to root for like a crazy evil looking character or someone who lost his moral compass, I think in that situation he did what anyone would probably do given what he's lost and what just happened, feeling foolish and most importantly feeling betrayed. However, his realization of what he did mixed with what death is supposed to do, I like that it brought him back into a human-like mentality while still keeping in that consideration that certain characters are going to have to die going forward, and I really like that shift in mentality, and the fact that he tried to put on the brave face and act like things were normal, obviously mourn the dead, but be more prepared for future encounters. But the fact that he clearly was still upset despite the tone changing within a matter of minutes, you know, death and despair to the typical Mio Tomoe goofy comedy, he was not okay, and you could tell that, and the fact that Rembrandt and just everything like that, everything seemed to be okay there. He even took off his mask, and, you know, they make goofy jokes about how he's ugly, like how his daughters were ugly because of the curse. And then just like the war is approaching, and I'm like, what the hell? They must be ending on a cliffhanger. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a cliffhanger to the same degree as this episode ended, but I almost feel like season 1 has to end in some form of cliffhanger, and if they don't give us a season 2, not only would it be a disgrace because clearly they're setting up some big ass shit, but just the quality of this show keeps getting crazier, and I love how it built into that darkness subtly and with a natural transition rather than just going balls to the walls edgy from the minute 1, right? And the fact that he has something worth fighting for, and the fact that there's sacrifices and people didn't just completely lose faith, I just think they handled that entire dark encounter so flawlessly, while making room for a new character like Shiki himself, even though he does pretty much act like a punching bag for the other two. He's an incredibly useful magic wielder, and I have no idea what's going to happen next. Because we know Makoto is very strong, so I imagine he would put up a fight, but at the same time, maybe they're just going to completely wipe the floor with him, and it's going to, you know, they're going to have to try to locate him or something like that. It's impossible to say, but hot damn, this episode delivered. I might go as far to say episode 11 might be the best Tsukimichi episode in more ways than one, but I need time to recover. I mean, let me know your thoughts and feelings either on episode 10 or 11, of course. Thoughts and feelings where it could go from here. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.